Welcome back to Designated Beer Drinkers. After a long, long wait, the new episode is finally here.
Check that out.
Hell yeah.
I'm really struggling here.
Tonight, we drink Sierra Nevada Hop a Bullet Magnum Edition Imperial IPA. That's a 9.5%.
From Chico, California, and Mills River, NC,
North Carolina.
North Carolina, USA. The finest quality.
And the beer blurb. The Mighty Magnum Hop packs this edition of Hop Bullet with behemoth flavors of grapefruit, orange rind, and pine resin. This thing's a force, but it's also fleeting. Stock up or miss out.
FOMO.
So I wonder if it's like a limited edition one.
Probably.
It says only available January through March.
Oh,
Interesting.
so it's the last month to get it. Well, I guess by the time they listen to it,
Still the last month to get it.
it'll be released still. Okay.
All right.
First
Well,
sips.
Clink.
Smells like IPA. Oh, tastes fruity.
I only got foam in that first sip.
Ooh.
I gotta wait for a moment.
My first sip was not as hoppy as I was expecting, but I think that was because of the foam. But then my second sip, very hoppy.
This is good. This is really
Oh, yeah.
good. What are you doing?
He's fingering his drink.
Immediately, this is making me think of Juicy Haze.
That's fair. Definitely the hops.
Nice.
And the
And-
fruity,
Yeah, a touch of fruitiness.
citrusy.
Ooh, lots of hops.
This is delicious.
Nice and bitter. Classic beer.
Very bitter. At least for my first sip
It
here.
really makes you do the.
Yeah. I can taste that like tangy grapefruitness.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in my foam sip.
Right.
How does it sniff though?
We didn't give it the sniff test.
Sniff sweeter than it tastes.
It does.
I would
sniff
agree.
sweet. And wheaty.
.48 IBUs.
It doesn't feel like a lot.
48 what?
IBUs.
It's a solid amount.
Yeah.
I think the coffee one we had at beer school was 24.
Yeah. There was one I had that was like 80, and that one was really bitter. And yeah, I feel like the standard's like 25-ish, basically. It's
That's
like
fair.
a really small amount of bitter.
Yeah, mild.
Yeah. This is decently bitter.
All right, we should probably jump into what everyone's been up to lately.
Yes, sir.
Either of you like to start?
Sure. I just saw Dune 2 today. That was pretty sick. Very cool movie. What's the guy's name? I think the director is Denis Villeneuve or Villeneuve. But yeah, movie was super cool. You know, everyone's been raving about it online, and I did not see some of that stuff coming for sure. I'm trying to like talk about it without spoiling anything here for you guys, but you know, it follows Paul Atreides, the successor and like basically last heir to the House Atreides. And in the first movie, they basically wiped out his family, and he was on the run. And so the second one is about the prophecy that was kind of foretold in the first movie for, you know, the man who or the woman or whoever will lead the Fremen of the planet Arrakis to freedom and rebuild their paradise. Because their planet's been, scrapped and harvested for this spice
The dust.
drug. It's a hallucinogen, and it's also used to like power spaceships for like faster than light travel or something. A little iffy on that, but it's like the most valuable resource in existence, and control of it naturally makes the leading faction very powerful and rich. The second movie is all about that prophecy of who will lead these oppressed people to freedom and what happens with Paul and his mom on the run. I don't know if I can really say much more than that without spoiling anything, especially since it's so new. I don't want to spoil it for the audience here if they listen.
Was it more fast paced than the first movie? The first movie was pretty slow.
Yes, I guess. I feel like it was similar pacing to the first movie, but it had more action. There was more cool fights and stuff going on. It had one really cool fight scene that was like in all black and white, which was really neat. So I didn't see that coming, but that was cool. I actually almost wish it was paced a bit slower. Like, I'm not sure how they would have split it up into like a third movie then, because it basically ends here as far as I understand, although there's definitely still more they can go into.
Well, there's so many books, I think.
Yeah, well, I think their plan is to adapt the first and maybe the second book. And my friend mentioned that this finishes the first book. So I imagine the second book goes into more detail about the aftermath of what happens here. But yeah, the pacing was a little weird. There were some parts that they spent like a good amount of time on, and I thought that felt right. And then there was other parts. It's like, okay, we have to travel from here to here, and it's like a really big journey across like half the planet. And it's like, okay, 2 minutes later we're there. I was like, oh, okay.
Nothing. It's like when you roll, like when you're traveling in D&D, roll for encounters. Like, you don't encounter anything, and then you arrive.
Yeah, so there was a scene where it's like, this guy's gonna come here and fulfill this part of a prophecy, but that's not allowed. Too bad, he's gonna do it anyway. And then it's like, oh man, I gotta get all the way over there to fulfill this part of the prophecy, And I can't say exact details, but their method of travel is definitely fast, but I don't think it's fast enough that you can, get across the world in 2 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I feel like there could have been a little more there. I don't know how it matches up with the book or anything. So pacing was like a very minor complaint, I guess. But I thought the actors did amazing. The score was incredible for it. They got Hans Zimmer on it.
Hell yeah.
So he's really good. And the story itself was really cool too. I had like a little bit of confusion throughout it, but for the most part I could follow what was going on pretty easily. There's kind of feuding between these different factions, and there's the Emperor who's in charge of everything. But they were talking about how, regardless of the outcome of this scenario, what's going to happen with him and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, this all makes sense. So, great movie. I've got that Letterboxd app, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right, opinion question for you. My assistant manager saw it a day or two ago.
Okay.
And he said it was one of the weirdest movies he's ever seen. And he said that one of the reasons he gave it that opinion is because some guy like kissed his uncle twice.
Okay. Yes.
So was it one of the weirdest movies you've ever seen?
So first, yes, that does happen. There is a dude that kisses his uncle. And it seems weird to us watching it, but it's not like weird in the context of the scene. But with that out of the way, I do not think it is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. I think it's pretty tame.
There's definitely real weird movies out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a major like blockbuster picture. There's a lot of action. There's political intrigue. There's, you know, plotting behind the scenes and stuff going on. It's I mean, it's got its claims, and it's what am I trying to say? It has themes to it about like religion and politics and your role in things and living up to your own values as well as those put upon you by the, you know, the world or whatever. But it definitely doesn't set out to just be weird.
Okay.
So yeah.
Not an A24 then.
God, what are some like recent A24 movies I've seen? Or did you have one in mind when you said that?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's fair.
I still really want to see that.
It's
I put everything on a bagel.
it's like entertaining, but is it a good movie? It just
I'd say
doesn't. No, it just
mildly.
doesn't make sense. It's like you're just watching and you're like, what? Like what?
Yeah, I feel like there's like not time travel, but dimension travel, which is
Yeah.
like interesting. But
But then like this, I don't even know what the storyline is.
I thought it got to the end of the movie, and then it turns out we were like only 45 minutes in, and we were like, "Whoa, there's more."
Yeah, because I just rewatched like half of it the other day, and it made like a little more sense, but also it's like, you know, why should I care about this plot line? Like,
Okay.
like, what's pulling? Like, I don't know. It's just such like, it's just so weird. I don't know. It's definitely not one of my favorites. Definitely
Fair.
entertaining just because of how like far out some of the stuff is, but then it kind of like detracts from why you're watching the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair valuation.
Like when their fingers turn into hot dogs, you're like, what? Or she's the one lady starts like fighting a cop, and then like she like steals his handcuffs or something and starts beating him up with his handcuffs like nunchucks, but then they turn into like dildos, and you're like, what? So
I've got to see this movie.
it's a weird one.
Other A24 movies, I was just looking. The Iron Claw and Zone of Interest, an Oscar nomination, are both A24 movies, and I thought those were really good. Did I talk about Zone of Interest on the last podcast? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so, but well, I won't rehash that, but good movies.
Yeah. I've been playing God of War.
Oh,
Yeah?
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I initially got it, I tried playing it, but I think I was kind of like falling off of video games around then. And there were so many like, what's like, you know, when you're playing a game and you go into like the menu or whatever, and it's got like items, map, skills, quests. It's got all the like sections, right?
Yeah.
But then you go into those sections, and there's like 10 more sections within those sections, and you're
Okay.
like, okay, and it's like craft, upgrade, spend skill points, and then you go into that, and then it's like, okay, here's a bunch more of crafting options, and it's just kind of overwhelming right at first, and it's
Sure.
like, okay, do you want to purchase? Do you want to upgrade? Do you want to sell? How do you know what's equipped? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And it was just like so
Diablo.
much like stuff going on the screen, like in the menus, and I was like, this is too much. But
yeah.
I started over. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, shortly after we moved in. So not that long ago then.
It's like a week ago.
So a week ago. Anyways, but I've been playing just the main storyline on easy, whenever I have some free time
Mm-hmm.
for like an hour or two. I was like, I just want to know what happens. But it's very good. I don't know if either of you have played it.
I haven't, but
Very
I own it.
very big on the storyline, and I'm sure you both heard about like the camera angles in like how the game is like shot. It's from one continuous angle. Like the screen never goes black. Even like in the cutscenes, they like perfectly like boop boop boop, and then he'll just start walking like somewhere, and the camera rotates behind him, and then you're just like back into the game.
Mm-mm.
There's no like loading screens. There's no, aside from when you start the game, but like once you're in the game, no loading screens. The camera angle never, like, you're always like it's for all from like one camera, if that makes sense. That's just kind of like looking at everything.
That's cool.
And it never breaks like focus with Kratos.
That's cool. Interesting.
So yeah, that part's really cool. The story itself is really good. I don't know how long the game is, but I feel like I've done a decent amount of the like main quests, and it's got like gods in it that are like coming after you, and you have your kid following you that you're trying to like protect from the world of like gods, because like all the gods are kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And so like your kid doesn't know that you're a god, and he doesn't know that he's a god.
Really?
And so like he just doesn't quite understand, because he's like a child and like learning and growing and stuff, and he's coming with you on this adventure. Like right in the very beginning of the game, you're like burning your wife because she died.
Oh.
And the whole point of the game is that she wants her ashes spread across the tallest peak in like all the realms. So there's like realm travel also. So there's like Midgard, Alfheim, Jotunheim, other ones. And so you like travel between them, and they all have like their own map for like all these other dimensions and stuff. So whole point of the game is you're trying to get to the tallest peak in like all of the realms to spread your wife's ashes. But then, the gods are coming after you because you do something that pissed them off, and you're trying to like raise your kid, and he doesn't know what's going on. So anyways, I'm really enjoying that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that's a really good game.
Yeah. And apparently the second one's really good too.
Yeah. You still got to finish Elden Ring.
Yeah. I'll come back to it in another year.
Let's
finish off the last 3 bosses.
Yeah. I started playing Red Dead 2
Ooh.
like a week or two ago.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah. I beat the first chapter in one sitting, and I was like, this is so cool. So yeah, the whole thing with attacking the camp of the bandits at the start of the game, and you ride around on your horses in the snow.
Yep.
That was pretty sick. And there's one point where you're all towing wagons towards a new camp at the base of the mountain or something. You get out of the snow and you see some like Native Americans up on a hill.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, better hope they don't bother us.
And your wheel like falls off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got through that, and then I had the really cool scene where you basically attack a train that's moving and loot all the money and bonds or something out of it.
Yeah.
So I was sick. And, the dynamite fails to explode. So you're like, fuck, we got to go jump on it from the other side. So I did all that. And then it's like, all right, Arthur, you can decide if these folks live or die. And they all just leave. I was like, okay. Why don't you guys get on the train for me? I'll let you go on your merry way. So I get on the train, and I get on the train with them. Like, all right, you guys had a good run. Give him the old one shot. And they gave me a little pop, like, your actions might have consequences. And I was like, nah, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm the main character here.
The best part of that is like you can cause so much mayhem and you can be like wanted in like different counties and stuff. But then you can just like go off or go to like the post office and like just pay off your bounty.
Oh,
And
really?
they're like, you're good.
Nice.
So you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, and when I was like in the snow attacking like that enemy camp, you know, we all like spy on them from the top of the mountain and sneak down to ambush them. We got through killing all those guys, and then all my partners were like, all right, Arthur, let's go. We're getting out of here. And I was like,
There's so much loot.
there's like 20 guys I need to loot here. Hold on.
Yeah.
They've all got at least like 50 cents on them. Which I mean, in today's money, that's like $20, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, hold your horses here, buddy. I need all this money.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did like a 3-hour session getting through the first chapter of the game there. But then recently I've been playing Helldivers, so haven't got back into it yet.
What about you, Zach? What have you been doing?
Work in school, baby.
In school, huh?
Exciting things happening at work. I guess 2 things. The first mildly exciting thing is that we're doing so much catering. I don't know how to like describe it, but like 10 to 20 times what we used to do.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah. So that's been insane. And then also we're working on adding a dessert pizza to the menu.
Oh.
And one of my assistant managers has come up with a recipe that we're probably going to use.
Ooh. Is it the cream cheese one?
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So I won't spill a recipe on here,
Yeah.
but you know, after cast maybe.
Nice.
But yeah, that's been super fun. He made another version today that was like the best one so far.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, go with that.
Yeah, you were telling me about that the other day, and I was like, so what I'm hearing is you're going to bring home some free dessert pizzas occasionally.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
You gotta brush the crust and like cinnamon sugar.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was telling him. I was like, the last thing to like finish this off is cinnamon sugar on the crust.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like, as you can imagine, it's like cream cheese, cinnamon sugar, and then apple pie filling,
Yeah.
and then
Cinnamon apples.
throw some icing on top.
Nice.
So that's been a lot of fun to screw around with.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then Christian Porter, he's one of my managers, and he bought some like Hershey syrup and some marshmallows to play around with.
Ooh,
Nice.
So that's just been a little
You could
fun
get
thing. at work.
marshmallow fluff and like use that as the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good.
You can make a s'more pizza.
Good.
could use,
Graham
like-
cracker crust.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And then just melt some Hershey's bars and the marshmallow fluff in there.
Oh,
Throw in some cinnamon sugar.
I've got a story to tell you about one of the owners.
Okay.
After cast.
Okay.
Because might not be good if I say it on here.
Okay.
But yeah, school, work, having more fun at work than school.
Yeah.
That's good.
I might be able to switch my accounting minor to an accounting emphasis for less work, and maybe a scholarship, I guess.
Do you think you're going to do that then?
I
Or
sure
is
hope
it still
so.
up in the air until it's like announced or whatever?
They announced the scholarship, and then I looked at it, and I was like, Do I have it? So basically, like to get the scholarship, you have to be enrolled in accounting through fall of 2024.
Okay.
And after this semester, I might just have enough credits to have an emphasis in accounting. But there isn't any information on it anywhere because it's college and they don't tell you anything.
Classic.
Awesome.
So, anyway, I've got a meeting with my advisor on Tuesday for that and also signing up for summer classes. So, hopefully I'll know more then.
You just have like a year left, right? Or 2 years?
Year and a half or so. Yeah, it's going to go by quick. I think either spring or summer of 25.
Okay. Sick.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
should be a good time. Excited to be done and
Yeah.
move on with my life.
Yeah.
Start living again,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, I don't know, college sucks because it's like I kind of know like the direction I want to go, and this is more of a roadblock than an achievement.
Yeah.
Mm.
A hurdle to get through.
Right.
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
So it's like, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll be surprised and learn something valuable. Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah.
I'll just go with that until I'm done
And then you'll have your degree, and
and never have to go back again.
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go back ever.
No, dude.
I
Don't.
No, I'd probably have at least like another 2 years, depending what I go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with your real estate thing or go with banking and just stick to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you applied for your real estate test yet?
Not yet. No, I think I need to update my address on my license.
Oh, you should do that with the bank too, because I think we've been getting your like statements and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do need to do that. I need to talk to Dutch to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I need to go to the DMV at some point to say, hey, can I have a new one with a different address on it?
Mm.
And then I have to have $300 in pocket change to spend on a test.
I still haven't updated my address.
On what?
Like anything, mostly, except for things that I want shipped, like Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to get my mail and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I always update with the postal service and the bank. Those are the two main things. I don't always do it on my license, but
Yeah.
I think this time I have to.
Yeah. I just have a lot of stuff go to my parents' house by default.
Yeah.
If it asks like what's the address on your license or whatever, you know, it's like okay, parents' house.
I've almost finished this one.
I'm getting there.
Finished mine so quick.
How's it making you feel?
You want to take a guess?
A little bit glonky.
I'm feeling a little buzzed. I had the Code Brewing Company Citra Wheat.
Oh,
I decided
you
to.
like that one.
Oh yeah, that's been like one of my go-tos. That and Juicy Haze have been like my two go-tos over the past few months. I had two of those before podcast.
Yo.
And oh man, I haven't had dinner yet, so like
Oh, yeah. You're feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
I've got some Hot Pockets if you want.
I bought some Red Baron French toast pizzas. Or not French toast, French bread pizzas.
Yeah, French bread.
I just made
Yeah.
French toast before coming here.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It was delicious.
I need to do some more cooking again. Probably tomorrow. I'm running low on the meal prep.
Yeah.
About time to go eat out again.
Yo. We got Cane's for dinner tonight after the movie. Tastes really good, but Cane's fucks with my stomach every time.
Oh,
I need to stop getting that, honestly. I was kind of worried, so I was like, I've got some acid reflux, but we've got the beer podcast. I can't miss that,
Right.
So I took like 3 grams of Tums and drank a glass of milk and a bunch of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like 2/3 of the way better. I'm still like sipping the beer slowly though, so it doesn't mess with me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But
We got lots of
going pretty
Tums
good
in the kitchen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I've felt pretty bad for Courtney doing her. I think you overheard while I was at Mom and Dad's, but she's got some medical stuff going on.
Yeah.
And she's taken so many different medications and nothing is working.
Oh,
So it's like,
did she work today then?
yeah, she's at work right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's been feeling great in the mornings, but like 2:00 hits and then it starts going downhill. So I don't know if it's like a dietary thing maybe, or like, I mean, we have a general idea of what it is, but like what's causing it to escalate so quickly at night,
Yeah.
and her working 2 to 10 definitely doesn't help. So yeah, she's
That's kind of a shitty shift.
kind of, yeah. She got the same days off as me, Tuesday and Sunday.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's super awesome. And she's getting paid like plenty. So that's also been super helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, she felt so bad because she started the job, and then right after she finished training, she was like, I'm sick with like something serious, I think.
Yeah.
So she had a doctor's note for 2 days off, and then today was like she was probably gonna call in, but she didn't have a doctor's note for it, and then she ended up going in.
Yeah. Have you talked to her at all today since then?
A little bit, yeah. I brought her dinner just because she like has a break in her shift, obviously, but she just like didn't have anything because we're like out of groceries. So I brought her some dinner that would sit nicely and talk to her for a couple minutes at work. But when she went to work, she was feeling really good, and then when I talked to her on break, she was like, yeah, I'm not doing good.
That's rough.
Shit. So, yeah. Things are going interestingly in that area.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets figured out quickly.
Yeah. If it keeps like spiking up at night, by the time I guess tomorrow or maybe Monday comes around, then we'll take her to urgent care or like a physician or something and be like, hey, we think we know what this is, but can you check for sure?
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the I thought of this because you said that's rough. The live action Avatar
No.
on Netflix?
No.
Have you?
I haven't. I've seen like screenshots of it. I'm like, okay, like maybe. And then I've heard some people talk about it. Like, yeah, some parts of it are good, some parts of it not so much.
So the review that made me not want to watch it was someone that said the 2010 movie remake made the live action Netflix version feel like Mercy because at least the movie was only 2 hours long.
Ooh.
And I was like, shit.
That's
harsh.
That's bad.
That is a firm statement.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it was that bad. I heard
Yeah.
I've heard
It's
like
a-
mixed things.
Yeah, I've heard like it's a decent enough TV show if you don't compare it to the original.
Pretend it's a different show.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, the only reason I'm interested in it is because of the original.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to compare it to that, it's not good enough to stand on its own,
And I heard they skipped a lot
Why
of
even
this
bother?
stuff.
Yeah, and Sokka isn't sexist, and that takes a lot away from Katara's anger.
It's funny when you say it like
Because,
that,
like,
but it's true.
Sokka's character arc is him becoming not sexist.
Yeah.
So like that takes away his entire character arc, which is really bad. And then Katara is like super angry, and like half of her anger is because Sokka is sexist, and then she's just like not angry in the remake, so she's just like a sad woman, and it's like this show feels sexist.
Huh.
So yeah,
that.
and then
I don't
Aang
know-
can fly without a glider.
What?
Yeah, he can just do it. And it was like, that was like the main, like,
The main reason why he could fly.
and the main power of a villain in Legend of Korra.
Was with the gliders.
No, like, in the Legend of Korra, there was this, like, airbender that could fly. He just, like, didn't need to touch the ground or anything because he could just fly on his own.
I don't know if I got that far. I watched a lot of it, but once like they started fighting like mechs, I was like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Korra definitely had some great moments here and there, but it was a little iffy overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, after
I haven't
watching it,
rewatched it in a while. Yeah, I've only seen it once, and it was like years ago.
yeah, after watching it a few times, I can be like, all right, well, like, based on the creator's like vision, I get why this is like considered good, but like, it's all right. The main thing it's missing is a power arc, because when the show starts, she already knows three of the elements.
She only has trouble with wind or air, whatever.
And then after the end of the first season, she's like, nope, I know all the elements, and it's like, all right, well,
Like, so you're not
There
gonna
isn't a
go. You're not
power
gonna go
arc.
on
It's-
a big journey to master all four elements.
yeah, it's
You're not
just
gonna go find teachers. You just know them.
It's just
It's not the same show as Avatar. What the hell?
yeah.
yeah.
How dare they do a different story?
But like they were like, yeah, it's more about like mental well-being and fighting through like hard times, I guess. And I was like, that's fair. Like that's an important lesson.
Yeah.
But also I want to see some cool shit happen.
Yeah. I felt it got a little too out of hand when they were doing like the energy stuff.
Spirit vines.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. But Old Toph was cool.
Old Toph was cool.
Yeah. She was so old. And she was Toph.
Oh,
Anyway. Yeah, it had some fun ideas. Like the metal bending stuff was cool. The lava bending was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the political stuff was neat, I remember.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like it had the same impact as the original.
Speaking of shows and movies, Kung Fu Panda 4 just came out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have seen the trailers or not, but it looks pretty sick.
I'd be down to see that.
And I just recently, Timber and I rewatched all the first three.
Oh,
Courtney and I recently watched the first two.
okay.
Second one is not as good as the third one, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
I rewatched the first one with you and Corny, Zach, or at least most of it, sitting out there in the living room. But Christian, what happens in the second and third ones?
The second one is against the peacock who invents like gunpowder and cannons and wants to
Okay.
take over all of China with like this new invention. He's like, I'm going to wipe out Kung Fu for good because my parents were mean to me and now I'm enacting my wrath.
Oh.
So he's just full of like spite, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, Poe masters being the dragon warrior. and he like gets like all the Dragon Warrior powers.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, he
And
fights that ox, doesn't he?
He fights an ox who steals your chi, and he turns you into these little like jade, like things, and
Yeah.
like basically takes your power, and then he can like summon all of the. He's got like them on his waist and on his like necklace, and he can like summon like these jade like forms of like kung fu masters and like send them out to do his bidding. So he gets like some of the Furious Five,
No.
and he sends them out to go fight Poe. And Poe finds the rest of the pandas that were thought to be extinct.
Oh.
And he learns how to control like chi and like breathe life into things, and like also it's like he learned how to give life to things, and the villain was learning to like take life and like power from people.
Cool.
And then he gets like Dragon Warrior powers.
Yeah.
That one was really cool because he couldn't beat the bad guy, like when he was fighting him at the end, towards the end of the movie. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like what's he gonna do? Like he
Yeah.
didn't learn like anything new. He was just kind of like enjoying being with pandas. Like how's he? And he tried fighting him, and it's not working. He's kind of backed into a corner now, and ultimately, well, I guess, do you want me to spoil it or not?
I think I've seen
It's
it
just
at
Kung
least
Fu
once
Panda.
before.
Yeah. It's just Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. Ultimately, he's like, okay, well, I can't beat him, and he attempted the thing he did with Tai Lung, the whooshy finger hold on him. He snuck up on him, was his big plan, and got him by the finger, and he goes skadoosh, and then nothing happened, and he's like, huh? Why is it not working? But the guy was like already dead or something, so like it didn't work on him.
Oh.
And so he's like, crap, like that was my trump card, you know?
Yeah.
It worked against Tai Lung. And eventually he just like grabs the villain, like he gets on his back and grabs him around the neck, and then he grabs his own finger and he skadooshes himself
Oh.
and blows them both up.
Interesting.
And then in like the dead realm, he learns the rest of the Dragon Warrior powers.
Cool. I would definitely see movie 4.
Weird.
Yeah, movie 4 looks so cool because it's a chameleon who can shapeshift.
I haven't seen anything about it.
I
just know it's coming out.
I would see it. The one thing to have caution about is I heard that it was shit and a cash grab.
Really?
Yeah.
That trailer's looked cool.
If it looks cool, I'd see it.
It's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
Yeah.
He's got a big beard.
Oh. I watched School of Rock for the first time in the past like month or two.
Yeah?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
like it?
It's pretty good.
Man, there's some shows coming back soon. Invincible comes back.
I've never seen it.
Invincible's really good, actually. You'd probably like it. There's that new anime, Kaiju number 8, that's coming out soon. Got like a couple weeks. You should check out the trailer for that, because it's like a typical action kind of anime. There's these big-ass monsters attacking, like Godzilla-style stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main premise is that the dude somehow can, like, turn into one of them.
So it's like Attack on Titan.
Maybe. So, I don't know. The trailer looks cool for that, so I kind of want to see it. And then Slime is also coming back next month. Woo! Finally, bro.
Finally.
Like 3 years.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Nothing
Do
like
you know
some
how
slime.
many times I've rewatched that show?
How many?
A lot. Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna be so cool. I can't wait. It's already been like I read the books for it up to like 16 or 17 or something, like already a few years ago now. Basically when season 2 came out or was coming out right after or something. So
That was like
I've kind of forgot what happens. I know the main premise of season 3.
I know some spoilers, but I don't know like how they happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say or not.
I know the main premise.
I don't need slime spoiled.
Yeah, I know the main premise of season 3 that they showed off in the trailers. Have you seen the trailer, both of you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say. There's a fight coming, obviously.
Yeah.
Because Simon's cool with the fights.
I know some secrets about Benimaru and Ranga and maybe another person who some powers that they get.
Raymer gets some crazy powers.
I'm sure he does. He's already got crazy powers.
Yeah. Oh, what is that? Season 5 is going to be so wild.
and Noir.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Noir. Yeah.
What's the name? Diablo. That's what his name.
Yeah.
I know those 3 for sure get a title.
Pretty sick.
What's the little goblin's name? Gobta.
Gobta,
Yeah.
Gobta gets a Glock.
Does he? He gets a Glock.
I feel like I remember Ethan sending a Snapchat about that.
Glockta.
Wait. I don't remember. It was probably like a minor detail.
That would be so funny if Rimuru was just like, hey, great sage, can you like synthesize a gun?
No.
And then just gives it to Gobta.
No, I think, well, you know how they like are working towards industrialization in their city?
Yeah.
Like they're constantly progressing and he's taking knowledge from like the modern world and applying it, but with
Right.
magic and stuff.
Yeah, they've got like aqueducts
I'm
and
pretty
hot
sure
springs.
they do develop guns at one point.
Really?
I think so.
That's funny.
Yeah. They're not, I don't think they're like wide scale, but I think they're like specialized.
Yeah.
I'd have to reread it. There's so much. Those books were so fun to read because they're like long, but they're not that long.
Mm-hmm.
They're like standard like 3, maybe 400-page books at most, and you can get through them pretty quick.
Yeah.
And every time there's just like something fun going on. Like, oh shit, here comes another big fight, you know? Yeah.
Solo Leveling, you guys caught up?
Yeah, I'm caught up on that.
Did you watch the one today?
Not today yet.
Okay. I haven't seen the one today either.
I saw episode 8 like a few days ago.
But I think he gets his like main powers soon.
Yeah.
Like we're already more than halfway through the season. So I'm wondering if
Yeah.
it's going to be like end of the season when he gets his like main power.
Doesn't he get his main power when he fights the like Red Knight guy?
Shortly after, yeah. Cuz he does that fight and then I think it's in like another like instance dungeon, like
Okay.
where he gets like another like key like he did with the wolves at the start. I think it's in another one of those that where he fights that Red Knight and then he does like one other thing and then he gets his power.
Dude, episode 8 where he went into the dungeon, the Hell Dungeon one.
Oh, with the dog. I honestly didn't think. I thought it was gonna end like when he like walked in there and like they showed the dog, and I was like, they're gonna save the fight for next time. And nope, they just went through the whole fight, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they had like a bunch of time for it, so I was like, damn, this is sick.
Yeah. Have you been watching, Zach?
I haven't. I've seen like the first episode or two.
Should watch more.
I should.
Yeah.
Skip 7.5.
Yep. It's just a recap.
But yeah, my beer's finished here.
Same. Kind of got to pee.
Should we do our ratings?
Sure.
What are we looking at time?
We are at
50.
9:30.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good to rate it and call it
Okay.
here.
Cool.
I can start, I suppose. Delicious. Reminds me of Juicy Haze. from Voodoo Ranger. Strong. I think it's stronger than Juicy Haze.
Yeah, a 2%.
Still tastes super good. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have like too much like depth to it. It's a good IPA,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's just what you want. A.
Cool. Would you like to go next, Zach?
Sure. I wish there was a little more fruitiness to it. As I said, there was like a hint of a few different kinds of fruits. Because I feel like a main emphasis of it was hops, which is fair. I feel like IPAs are really popular right now, and people are like, "Oh, where can you get the most hops?" Yeah, it was pretty good. Very hoppy, very strong, slightly bitter. And I think I'll give it like a B.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I also enjoyed this beer. Like it says on the can, it is an Imperial IPA, which, for those that are not aware, Imperial IPAs are also known as double IPAs. They're usually a minimum of like 8%, and they're usually a little darker and more bitter than a standard IPA. So with that in mind, I think it lives up to its title fairly well. Also, quick shout out, I learned that at beer school, but I did just look up the details again for reference. But yeah, Imperial IPA is like a specific naming thing in addition to IPA. Anyway, yeah, it was good. I tasted more of the grapefruit in the foam than I did in the actual beer. Had a lot of foam at the top of mine. So I also agree that it could be like a little fruitier, but I don't think it needed much more. I thought it was pretty good in that department. Going into it, if I had remembered at the start that it was going to be more bitter, because that's what an Imperial IPA is, I probably might have enjoyed it a little more. But as it stands, I wish it was a little less bitter, honestly. I thought the 45, if that is the correct IBU value, was like a little high for my taste. I'm going to give this a B. I would definitely drink it again, and I could definitely drink more than one, but not quite feeling it tonight. So, yeah, good beer.
Oh yeah,
There we go.
All right,
there it is.
that's the podcast.
Good beer, boys.
Everyone raise your glass. That's the sound of an empty beer. Catch us next time.